Good morning. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the most important questions that any new venture can ask themselves and their customers is the question of why now? And this question in particular is I believe, and many others do, is a big predictor of how fast you will grow and how successful you will be. So the importance of why now? This is a question that you'll get a lot if you're trying to raise money, specifically from early stage investors. They want to understand why your customers would buy you now, and this is really based on the principle that customers will not really change the way that they work unless they're absolutely forced to by some external pressure, and that if they don't change, then there will be consequences, either to their performance or their goals, or then them achieving something that's measurable. And if you don't have that question, investment is going to be tough because you're unlikely to see that hockey stick growth. There are obvious exceptions, but when you do have a clear why now, the likelihood of growth is much higher. And so you'll notice that question should come up a lot when you are talking to investors. So examples that drive why now. Three obvious ones would be regulatory or compliance change. Obviously, I've put a bunch of examples under each one, but there would be many for each. GDPR is a big one, and that generated a huge market and created lots of different companies and accelerated growth for many. The second would be technological advancements. So cloud computing, obviously drove a lot of industries around it. And then actually my previous business would fall into this bucket where our customers were heavy social media users on the digital side, and we provided solutions for them. And so that changed how they worked. And then the final one, hopefully we don't see again, is sort of economic and market shifts, with the example being COVID and really shifting and forcing how people work, specifically remotely. So the benefits of a clear why now is you're selling into a large untapped market where there's real urgency for the buyer. And so if you know who your buyer is, who your ideal customer profile is, your response rates to them when you reach out should be very, very high. And specifically, they will have a timeline to get a deal done, which is very important from a sales perspective. This ultimately will lower your acquisition costs because you'll be able to talk to more customers with less effort. And because of the urgency, you should be able to drive up the deal size, which is going to be fantastic for your lifetime value. And if there isn't a why now, you probably notice that you are really struggling to generate leads consistently. It's going to be slow growth. It'll be a grind. You're probably getting a lot of pricing pressure. And of course, when you look at your sales cycles, you may have what appears to be a big mid-funnel challenge where you've got people in your pipeline that just aren't converting and you just don't really know why. And so if you don't have a clear why now, if you do have a clear why now, congratulations. You're probably not watching this video because you're probably out there growing your business like crazy. But if you don't, here's a couple of things that you can do, is when you do sign customers, try to really understand why they're buying now. And so you're looking for that compelling motion that forces people to pick up the phone and say, hey, I remember talking to you. I need to do a deal with you right now. Try to really understand that. And if you are seeing patterns with that across your new business accounts, then that's something you want to test out from a go-to-market perspective, because that really might help drive your conversion rates. If you can't find one, but you're still, signing customers at a clip, you might want to think about how you are doing your go-to-market. And so if your ability to generate leads and convert those leads quickly is struggling, but you're still doing that, you may want to shift to a more inbound model where it's very content heavy, where you can sign up on your website without talking to a sales rep. And so you could really focus on those conversions and then build your business behind that demand and the realities of that demand. That's much easier than building a sales team and they're not being productive, and then everyone leaves and you've spent all this money and don't have anything to show for it. And then the final one is if you've got a wedge in with a use case that may not be growing particularly fast, do a bunch of research with those customers and try to look for use cases, pain point couplings with a stronger why now, and then having a product that supports multiple use cases is definitely not a bad thing, and could definitely help you in the long run. And so I faced this at a previous company, and we learned this a bit too late, and by that time, shifting to inbound would have been challenging because it does take a while to generate leads through content. It's much less immediate than outbound sales. And so I think being really aware of this as early as possible will only benefit you in the long run. Okay, thank you.